Hey guys, welcome back to Hollywood Silver Screen. We're going to discuss the 2013 American biographical drama movie titled 12 Years a Slave. It's rated 8.1 on IMDb. Spoilers ahead. Take care and enjoy the review. The movie is set in 1841 where a man named Solomon Northup is seen all happy and jolly with his family, and they all live in Saratoga, New York. Northup plays violin to entertain everyone. One day, Brown and Hamilton, two white men who work at a circus, visit Northup. They offer $70 to play violin for their circus and $150 on each show day for his performance. Northup accepts the satisfying offer. Next day, they have dinner together at a hotel and have a few drinks. But while returning back, Northup's health condition worsens and he falls unconscious. Next day, Northup finds himself shackled in a prison. He understands that the two men betrayed him and kidnapped him. He tries his best to break the shackles, but he's not able to do it. The door opens and two men enter. Northup informs them that he lives in Saratoga, New York with his family. But these people ask for the documents of him being an independent citizen. But Northup doesn't have anything. These men beat up Northup inhumanly as Northup cries for help. The slave trader named Theophilus Freeman forces Northup the identity of Platt, a runaway slave from Georgia. Northup is with two men and a family. Clemens and Eliza have a family together. All the captives are shipped in the Seaway and taken for trading. When they're in the ship, Clemens asks Northup not to speak much and not to disclose that he's educated. Otherwise, he'll be killed because he's about to be enslaved. A man pulls Eliza and assaults her. When a slave tries to stop him, he's killed and his body is thrown into the water. One man enslaves Clemens and takes him away. One man starts calling everyone's name so that each slave identifies and stands up. But when he calls Platt, Northup doesn't stand, and he informs the man that his real name is Northup. But he's slapped hard and told that his name is Platt. All the slaves are taken to a house and stripped naked. The people start bidding on each slave. A man named William Ford purchases Eliza Northup at $15,000. When Eliza requests to take her children with her, the merciless auctioneer refuses to give him the children. He tells Ford that he'll have to make money out of the girl. He sells Eliza's kid to someone else. Ford brings Platt and Eliza home, but Eliza is depressed for not having her kids. The scene cuts to John Tibeats and his assistant with a group of slaves. These two are Ford's supervisors. They order everyone to cut the trees and sit by the side and relax. One day, Platt suggests to Ford that if they take the wood by the stream of water, it'll be more efficient. He does it and shows it to Ford, but this really upset Tibeats. Impressed, Ford gifts Platt a violin. Northup wants to come in the good books of Ford so that he's freed soon and goes back to his family as soon as possible. He's hopeful he'll get through. Next day, when Northup is building a wooden house, Tibeats comes and calls his work bad. When Northup opposes, Tibeats attacks him and takes him down. Another man arrives on the horse, and Northup complains to him that since he didn't use the nails given by him, Tibeats is beating him. Tibeats is warned and asked to go, where Northup is asked to stay. After a while, 3 horsemen arrive and beat up Northup. While they are about to hang Northup to death, a man points a gun at them and saves Northup. In the evening, Ford arrives and gets Northup off the ropes. He informs Northup that he has sold Northup to Edwin Epps. Since Northup has spoiled his reputation as a slave, he won't be working anymore. Edwin Epps is a merciless oppressor who beats up his slaves without any reason. He orders all slaves to collect cotton from the fields, and whoever gets less than 100 kilograms of cotton, he whips them badly. He keeps beating up until the slave is unconscious. One day, Epps' wife asks Northup to get some items from the market. Northup loses his way in the forest. At one point, he encounters a few men hanging their slaves to death. While they approach Northup, he gets away taking Epps' name. He purchases all the items from the market and gives it to the wife of Epps. Northup has another girl named Patsey with him, who's constantly abused by Epps, and she's depressed and humiliated. One day, she offers a piece of gold to Northup and asks him to murder her as she couldn't kill herself. Northup disagrees with it. Next day, Epps notices insects on cotton fields and calls it a plague and holds the slaves responsible for the entire swarm of insects that have spoiled the farm. He accuses them of the curse of the slaves and for the farm being destroyed by the insect. For covering up for his loss, Epps sends all his slaves to a neighboring plantation in form of lease. The plantation owner one day calls Northup and asks him if he knows about sugarcane farming, to which Northup replies he doesn't know about it. The plantation owner asks him to play violin in his friend William's birthday party, and he's even allowed to keep the money that he gets. Northup agrees and he plays the violin at the birthday party. After a few days, all the slaves are sent back to Epps. The exact same torture and abuse is repeated on them. Northup along with all the slaves are put into collecting cotton from the fields. One day, Platt and another slave named B collect very little cotton, and they are inhumanly whipped on their backs. B, despite being white, has turned into a slave due to the addiction of alcohol. One day, Northup gives B a letter for his family and asks him to post it. He even gives him a good amount, but B betrays him and tells Epps about this. B informs Epps that there is an educated man amongst the slaves and wants to go away, but doesn't reveal the name. When Epps interrogates Northup, he tells Epps that B is simply a drunkard and wants to become the supervisor of the whole place. He has lied to Epps. After Epps leaves, Northup sets fire to the letter he wrote out of disparity. He has lost all his hopes of returning home. The scene then cuts to Northup, who comes across this man named Samuel Bass. Bass is a staunch believer who is helping in the construction of the house. He suggests Epps to not keep any slaves as it's a sin, but Epps, being sadistic, simply shuts Bass. Next morning, Patsey is found as she went missing for several days, and Epps was desperately looking for her. Epps starts beating up slaves out of frustration, and when he approaches Patsey, she stops him, saying that she's sick and hasn't taken a bath for days. She went to the shop to get some soap so that she could clean herself, but Epps dismisses it, calling her a liar. He strips Patsey naked and beats her up until she is unconscious. The scene then cuts to Bass and Northup, who are building a house. Bass asks about Northup. After a bit of hesitation, Northup understands that Bass is a good man and discloses all the details about himself to Bass. Although Bass directly couldn't get Northup free, he's ready to help him escape. Northup writes a letter which is posted by Bass. After a few days, the local sheriff arrives and recognizes Solomon Northup. He's ready to take Northup along with him. Epps tries to stop Northup, but the lawyer warns him, stops Epps, and takes Northup away. He bids farewell to Patsey and leaves for New York. Northup returns back to his family where his children had grown and got married. He even had grandchildren. He eventually gets reunited with his family as everyone holds him close. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like, share, and comment down below, and subscribe to our channel for more. See you in the next video.